Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 of your descriptive statistics unit. For today's lesson, you're going to be needing your calculator and a writing utensil. So let's make sure you have both of those ready to go before we get started. All right, for today's lesson, our goal for today, given a set of data, you will be able to create a box plot and also interpret the box plot. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at first, how do we create a box plot? Well, many of you may remember a box plot by another name, which is a box and whisker chart. All right, in order to create a box and whisker chart, what you're going to do is you're going to take all of your data and you are going to arrange it in order so that way we can find 5 special and unique numbers. The first number is the minimum, the smallest data point. Then we're going to find the first quartile, which is also known as the 25th percentile or the lower quartile. We're going to find the median number, which is the 50th percentile, or, oops, there's a typo there, it should be Q2, okay, your second quartile. We're then going to find the Q3, your third quartile, which is the 75th percentile, or the upper quartile. And then the 5th number we're going to need to find is the maximum, which is the largest data point. Now, the reason we need these 5 special unique numbers, which we call the 5-number summary, is because they are the points that we use to graph our box plot. Okay, so the box plot is a graph that provides a picture of the data ordered and divided into 4 intervals that each contain approximately 25% of the data. So the very first point that we're going to plot is this one right here. That line's a little off. This is going to be your minimum. Okay, the first line that we're going to plot right here then, this is going to be your quartile 1, your Q1. The middle line right here, this is going to be your median. The next point right here, which is going to be the end of your box, that's your Q3. And then at the very end here, this is going to be your maximum. So each of these unique sections are all going to contain 25% of the data. So 25% of your data is between the minimum and the Q1. 25% is between Q1 and the median, 25% between the median and Q3, and 25% between Q3 and the maximum. All right, this box right here is actually something that's very unique. So we know that each part is 25%, so 25, 25, 25, 25. So that means this in here in the box, this is going to be the middle 50% of your data. And we like to call that the IQR, or the interquartile range. And we'll come back to that a little bit more in tomorrow's lesson. But for today, we need to learn how to actually create your box plot. So let's go ahead and take a look now at number 1. So how are we going to create it? Well, the first thing we have to do is find that 5-number summary. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some algebra test grades. All right, we want to complete the 5-number summary. So to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to order the numbers in order from least to greatest. So if I take a look here, I have a test grade of 65. The frequency is 2. So there are 2 grades of 65. All right, we have 67, and there is 1 person got a 67. 76 is our next test grade, and 3 students earned a 76. 76, 76. So on and so forth. Go ahead and continue placing those numbers in. All right, so now that we have all of our numbers, it's time to find our 5-number summary. Now, the first one that we have to calculate is our median, or it's going to be the middle number of our data. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 18 pieces of data here. So I know my median is going to be, okay, 9 in from each side. So I'm going to go ahead 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. So it's going to be right in between these 2 numbers. And that actually makes it really easy because it's 86 and 86. So in between those numbers is just 86. So this here is going to be my median. So I can go ahead and put an 86 there. Okay, now I'm going to start working outwards. So now I'm going to try to find my Q1 and my Q3. So my Q1 is going to be the median of the first half of the data. So not including the median, now I'm going to find the middle of the first half of the data. So I'm going to go 1 in, 2 in, 3 in, 4 in, and there we go. Here's my Q1, all right, which is going to be 76. Now I'm going to go take a look at the second half of the data. And again, I'm going to walk my fingers in. So in one, go in, go in, go in, go in, go in, go in, and there we go. Our Q3 is going to be 91. All right, the minimum and the maximum then are just those values at the endpoints, 65 and 98. Okay, now that we have our 5-number summary, we can use that to create our box plot. So I'm going to come down here now to the bottom, and I have my number line. I want to put a couple equally marked ticks on the bottom there so I can use that to arrange my numbers. And I'm going to go ahead and start at 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100. So I'm counting by fives because I know my range is between 65 and 98. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a dot above each of these 5 numbers. So above 65, above 76, so just a little past my 75, 86, 91, and 98. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and to do this, I'm going to create my whiskers first for the, and then I'm going to use the other 3 numbers for the other 3 points, and I'm going to create the box that surrounds it. So here's my interquartile range, and then my median simply gets a line. Now we do have to make sure that we title this, so this is going to be algebra test grades. So ladies and gentlemen, you've just created your first box plot. All right, so now that we've done it once, I'd like to try this a couple more times, but this time I'd like to show you some tricks in the calculator that will actually help us find our 5-number summary. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So using the calculator to find the 5-number summary. So here are the steps. I'm going to walk you through completing the very first example here together. So the first thing that we're going to do to find our 5-number summary is we have to tell the calculator what our data is. So we're going to go ahead and press Stat. Now we're going to select Edit, which is 1. We're now in the list 1. We're going to go ahead and we're going to input every single piece of data. So we're going to type in 100, hit enter, 144, hit enter, until you get all of the data in there. And I've already gone ahead and done that. So why don't you go ahead, hit pause, and input all of your data. Okay, now that we have all of our data in there, we're going to go now and we're going to press the Stat button again, Stat. We're going to arrow over to the word Calculate, which is in the middle. We go to Calculate. And then we're going to press number 1, which is 1 variable stats. So if we hit 1, it's going to take all of our data from the list 1. We're going to go down to the word calculate and then hit enter. Now we're going to see it has a lot of information there. Ooh, look at the first one, X bar, that's our mean value. But what we want is the 5-number summary. So we're going to use our arrow to go down. And there we have it. So here is our 5-number summary. N is the amount of data. There were 16 points of data. Our minimum is 82. So I can type that in, 82. Our Q1 is 106.5. Median is 120. Q3 is 149. And the maximum was 172. So now that I have my 5-number summary, I can go ahead now and construct my box plot. So I can take my calculator and put it off to the side. Now I see my range of data now goes from 82 all the way to 172. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a couple marks. So if I go 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 180. So I'm going to go and mark that 80, 90, Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to input points above my 5 number summary. So 82, 106, 120, we have 149, and 172. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create more so the whiskers of this. And then I'm going to draw 3 lines that I can then use to create the box. And there we have it. And I know that this is going to be titled as Students' Weights. Okay, now that we've created the box plot, the second part of today's goal was to be able to interpret the box plot. So let's take a look at our follow-up question here. So question C, what percent of the data does the box part of the box plot capture? So I know this is going to be 25%, 25%, 25% of the data, and 25% of the data. So the box is actually going to have 50% of the data. And what data falls between the minimum and the Q1? Well, that's going to be just 25%. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to practice one more time using your calculator to create the 5 number summary. So once again, we're going to take our calculators and now we're going to input the attendance of the movie Beauty and the Beast. So we're going to go to Stat. Choice 1 is Edit. Now we need to clear this list off. So I'm going to use my up arrow. So now I have the L1 highlighted. I hit the clear and then I go down. Now I can type in all of my movies. Okay, now that I have them all in there, I'm going to go and hit the Stat button again, go over to Calculate, and then we're going to hit choice number 1, which is one variable stat, go down to Calculate, and hit Enter. And this is where I'm going to stop for today because I'd like you to be able to calculate this on your own. We'll check your answers at the beginning of class. All right, nice job, everybody, on your day 3.